Hello, you wonderful friends, and welcome to my late February 2017 webinar, Profitable Business Networking and Personal Selling. It is an incredible honor to have you people here tonight, and we've got the awesome Wayne and Mary who came in nice and early. So welcome, Wayne and Mary. People usually rock up a few minutes late after the live webinar experience, but I've seen lots of people sign in as their emails came through. So welcome to you, fantastic two people for getting in early. And also as well, if you're live on the line tonight, please feel free to ask me questions in real time using the chat box. And if you're listening to the recording, be it in my awesome marketing vault or through my blog or whatever, please feel free to email me questions. I'll have to point you in the right direction, help you from there. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Now, Profitable Business Networking, Personal Selling. We actually ran a live workshop at this live webinar that you're listening to about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was incredible. Had lots of feedback, a lot of interest, and to me, business networking and personal selling are actually two areas that together actually aren't talked about that often. And to me, it's quite important because the problem that I had is that when I started my business about 5 years ago, actually, a lot of people at the time were saying, oh, you got to go networking, you got to attend events and that sort of thing. And it's like, okay, so networking is actually going to be one of the most powerful marketing and sales strategies that I'm going to use. But not many people actually discuss how to use it. And to me, that's what I want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about business networking, and I want to talk about personal selling in its own concept and also personal selling in the context of business networking. Now, this is the way I tend to look at things, and I'm a mixture of an online and real-world marketing type of fellow. And I'll tell you, after all the crazy battles I've won and all the great things that I've done, the fastest way to build a relationship is face-to-face. You know, making friends, making connections. Online is wonderful. Don't get me wrong, I love online. You know, obviously this is an online webinar type of experience. Online is great. Facebook is wonderful. LinkedIn is great. MailChimp Premium and live webinars are awesome. However, when it comes to building a real relationship, the fastest way of doing it is face-to-face. And I'm actually going to use a very controversial case in point. Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton towards the end of the election in 2016. Hillary was a heavy Twitter and Facebook person. She was very behind the scenes. And Donald Trump was doing 5 rallies a day at some points across America, speaking to people face to face. So when you talk about this, we're talking right from, you know, entrepreneurs like ourselves, right up and through to multi-billionaires who are using face-to-face and business networking. And to me, face-to-face is absolutely critical. And it's not so much a face-to-face versus online battle. It's how you meld them all together. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And I'm here to help you get more clients, earn more money, and get more time in the day. And as I was saying before, this recording will be going out tonight on my blog and tomorrow on my email community. And as well, if you need any help or anything like that, just contact me and refer me. I love that. Now, for those that don't know me, my name is Edward Zier. I'm a marketing mentor. I've helped my clients generate over $100 million in sales over the years. I've worked with thousands of business owners taking from 0 to 6 figures in less than 12 months in quite a few cases. Postgraduate in marketing from Monash University. I'm a fellow certified practicing marketer of the Australian Marketing Institute. Ex-military, federal agent, so I'm very disciplined. And the big point I actually want to focus on is every week I'm forever hitting new events across town and working with top companies. So it's not just what I've known previously. I'm doing whatever I can to keep my finger on the pulse and stay aware. So whenever I do these live webinars, that is the latest in my thinking, what I've experienced. If you want to copy the slides, just email me. If we're not working together, I would love to do that. Just to let you know as well, just as part of the disclaimer, as part of my Australian Marketing Institute Certified Practicing Marketer accreditation, this webinar is basically general advice only. So please don't listen to it and do something completely crazy. Feel free to talk to me first to make sure it's tailored to you particularly. Now, getting right into the topic, there's 3 strategic considerations I want to give some commentary to. And this is how it works with face-to-face selling and business networking. You don't just meet someone and they turn into the client. It takes time for people to work through the system, right from someone who meets you that becomes interested, right from someone who becomes a fan, someone who becomes a paying customer, and someone who becomes an advocate. Now, interestingly, when we actually run this live workshop experience going back a few weeks ago, I had one of my clients there who's a very savvy networker, and he had a very, very mature view about it. He was saying that quite often, some of the people that you meet today won't be clients for 2, 3, or even more years. So to me, sometimes I go networking and I get clients immediately, but sometimes the clients come in a lot later. And Wayne made a good point, actually. Actually asked a really good question, which we're going to discuss in this live webinar as well, is when you meet people in that networking experience, how can you stay connected with them? How can you engage with them? And what I mean by that is you don't want to just meet someone and grab their card and forget about them. You can get permission to add them to your database, add them to Facebook, add them to LinkedIn. You can even send them great materials and great offers to get them to opt in and that type of thing. So there's just a few things there I want to talk about and a few things I want to help answer in some of Wayne's great points. So we're going to talk about that. The second point as well, and this is just a general point I just want to make, this is actually written by Caltex in 1955. And when you actually look at this, you may not be able to see it on the screen, but if you look at the last point at the bottom, a customer is a person who brings you their wants. It's your job to handle them profitably to them and yourself. So to me, when I'm talking about customers, I'm not talking about someone that's, I'm talking about high-value customers. We're talking about customers that it's win-win. They love paying what you're charging them, and you love looking after them. That's what we're going to really be focusing on. And just the third point as well, and I can't stress this point enough, I'm talking about sales and marketing here. Your sales and marketing in your marketing is only as good as the business you have behind it. So make sure that you've got great service and everything is working. And of course, the final point as well is abundance thinking, which basically means it's half full. You're an opportunist that is always being continually progressive. So let's get into it. We're going to talk about Selling 101. Then we're going to jump into a few other topics, including my famous DISC profiling, which I'm a huge fan of. Now, let's go through it really quickly. I'm just going to tear through it. If you've got any questions, just jump in and ask me. We have been selling for years as a human species, right from around the campfire. Now, what was interesting is that even though humans have been involved in selling, their wares and markets for, hundreds, if not thousands of years, it was actually in the 1950s that the sales profession really came together. Now, here's the reality. Sometimes when I bring up sales, it becomes a bit of a dirty word and people can get quite scared by it and quite freaked out by it. What I want to say to you is that you cannot avoid selling. Selling is so important, so critical. And what I really encourage is that you don't try and avoid it. You dive into it. You get into it because the more you sell, the better that it is. Now, especially when you're starting to visit networking events for the first time, or really you're going to start ramping up meeting people, you're going to have a lot of wins and losses. You're going to get rejection and you've got to get over that. Now, face-to-face and online is actually not terribly different. So a lot of people tend to think about face-to-face versus online, and they have this opposing sort of mechanism and how it works together. What I want to tell you is this, my wonderful friends, is that be it you're selling face-to-face or you're trying to write great posts on Facebook or LinkedIn, or you're trying to set up a lead page, to capture someone's details, ultimately you have to be saying the words and talking to them in such a way that encourages people to sign up or opt in. Now, to me, selling, and I want to make a quick difference here. Marketing and selling are two different things, okay? Marketing, to me, is more bringing in the leads. Selling is more converting that leads into business. So it's important that you understand how people think and you can approach them the right way. A quick sacred cow I just want to demystify, and this is very important. Quiet people are great listeners. Quiet people can take in all the information, they can really understand people, and they're very observant, so they're not always talking. And the reason I want to bring that up is because whenever I talk about selling, a very, very common objection or concern that I get is, hey, I'm not that loud. I'm not sure if I'm going to be good at selling. Don't worry. In fact, quiet people can often have some of the highest conversion rates because they listen and focus. Now, I'm actually a fairly quiet person, believe it or not, right? Depending on what context. Actually, that's not true. I can talk a little bit. You might be very, very quiet and great at listening, or you might be a little bit like me. You might like the sound of your own voice too much, and you need to tone that down a little bit. Now, the point that I'm making here is listening is a very important part of selling. The other point I want to make about selling is that this is an art form. I don't want to so much go into exactly how you're meant to sell and how you're meant to do it, because I want to talk more about other topics. But when it comes to face-to-face selling, I see it as an art form, and many of us see it as an art form in terms of it's the way you connect with the world. It's your own little expression. Now, I sell through energy, kindness, and giving great value and information. Everyone has their own way of doing it. And I just want to point it out there. I'm not here to tell you that you have to do it this way. I'm going to give you some powerful ideas that have worked for me and the thousands of people I've worked with that I want to share with you so you can totally kick butt. Now, I'm just going to tear through this 9-step process of selling from a marketer's viewpoint. Now, it's interesting here. You notice I talk about sales and marketing, at times I use them interchangeably. They are two different concepts of a massive overlap. And as I was saying before, just to simplify it for the sake of this webinar, I'm treating marketing as basically the act of getting leads. I'm treating sales as basically converting those leads into a customer or going to those leads, okay? Obviously, there is a massive overlap because let's face it, if you go to a business networking event looking for new clients, is that a marketing or a sales activity? It's actually both, and there's a debate over which camp it goes to. Now, the reason why I'm saying selling from a marketer's viewpoint is I'm a marketer who's very good at selling. So I'm talking about this more from a quality point of view, and I just want to throw out some great nuggets of gold to really help you with your thinking here. So take note, my wonderful friends. Number one, you know this, you have to believe in your product 100% pure and simple. There's no debate about this. Number two, obviously you want to care for the welfare of your customers and the outcome they have. Critical, and I can't stress about it more. Number three, when you're going around selling and meeting people and that sort of thing, you want great business cards. You want a great profile. You want to look the part. You might even need to get a great graphic designer involved. Number four, when you're out there meeting people, at some point you have to present to people. That could be you standing up at a networking event, presenting to them for 30 seconds. It could be you standing up in front of a more formal, structured networking event for 60 seconds presenting to everyone. Or it could be you, this is actually interesting. I'm a very, very proud advocate of New South Wales Business Chamber, and they have what's called the soapbox there. You'll get usually at least 250 people in the room, and you have the opportunity to actually get up there. We book in advance, of course, and actually do a pitch to the whole room for 60 seconds. So for 60 seconds, you can be speaking to 350 people. It is absolutely incredible. So pitching is basically can come in many different shapes and sizes. So the point that I want to make here is that you have to really understand what you do and know exactly how to word it. Number five, and we're going to come into this a bit later, is the actual person that you're working with. Is really understanding them, how they work, how they think, and that sort of thing. And the point that I want to make here is that never assume anything about the people that you meet. Without saying politically correct, I'm the opposite of PC. I'm very counter-establishment in that regard. But ironically, when it comes to selling, I think political correctness is a good thing. No judgment. Don't assume anything. I like to keep my mouth shut and really listen to what people say and really understand where they're coming from before you assume anything. I can't stress that enough. And it's interesting. People have all sorts of motives, and it's really good to understand where they are and where they're coming from. Number six, you've got to be passionate and love what you do, because that passion goes off. Now, interestingly, the top salespeople I know love selling. They love their product. They love everything about it. And it's that passion that translates to the customer for amazing results. Number seven, after sales service. So when you get a customer, you're looking after them afterwards. So when you get referrals, people know that you're wonderful. Number eight is you're continually improving your game and questioning what you're doing. Even I know people who've been selling for decades that do this. And number nine is you've got to keep doing it all the time. You've got to stay productive. You've got to stay progressive. Now, I want to make a good point here. My conversion rate's actually gone up a little bit. It's about 1 out of 4. So in other words, if I meet 4 people one-on-one, one of them I'll pick up into a customer. And that's just the way it goes. That could just be meeting someone for coffee. That could be meeting someone for lunch. Or it could be a very direct lead coming in. Now, sometimes people just ring me up and hire me immediately. But quite often, if I meet 4 people saying, "Hi, Ed, I want to talk about what you do and see how it fits me," I'll pick up 1 out of 4. Now, it's very important to know what your conversion stats are. You might start at 1 out of 10. A lot of people are 1 out of 5, which means to get 1 customer, you've got to meet 5 people. This is an average, and it tends to change at times. It depends on how you meet those people. Okay, so I just want to put it out there. Depending on the circumstances, sometimes your lead conversion can be very high, but I like to keep that in mind. Not all your leads are going to go convert. So to me, if you want more customers, you have to get more meetings. So that's just a bit of information on sales. Now, I want to get into what one of the promises is, and this is disc profiling in selling with Dr. Tony Alessandra. So I want to give a bit of thanks, and I actually encourage you to jump a bit on LinkedIn and check out this. Disc profiling, again, I'm not here to talk about personality profiling, go into it. I'm talking about disc purely from a sales viewpoint. I want to sort of draw the lines of my sandbox there. It's William Moulton Marston, who's the father of disc profile. Actually goes back a long time. And also as well, I encourage you to jump online and check it out. The link is right there. The other thing that's very important, this is where disc profiling also kicks in, is charisma. we often talk about charisma and what it means. Now, I'll tell you now in selling, charisma is very important. Charisma is basically this. It's being able to have an attractiveness or charm that can inspire devotion in others. So it doesn't mean acting in a certain way, but charisma is a relative thing. You want to be charismatic when you're walking to people in the respect that when people meet you, they like you. They want to listen to you. They want to hear what you're all about. Now, DISC is powerful, and this is what I want to talk about. I actually studied him in from memory, in the early 2000s and late 1990s. Dr. Tony Alessandro, I believe he's retired now, but you can Google him. I actually learned a lot of DISC selling from this awesome guy. New York and Italian. He's got a great voice. I actually encourage you to YouTube this. Type it in YouTube. There's some videos of him. I'm not sure if he's still around anymore because this was some time ago. Now, what he teaches in selling is he takes DISC and he teaches it in terms of the platinum rule. Now, the golden rule is treat people the way you want to be treated. He builds on that and comes up with the platinum rule, which is basically treat people the way they want to be treated. It is so important. It's the ultimate thing of respect. Now, what I'm getting at here is it means this. If someone's a chit-chatter at a networking event or you're meeting someone face-to-face, talk more to them, okay? Yeah, people enjoy chit-chat, talk to them. If people are like me and just purely cut to the chase, you cut to the chase with them as well. You've got to respect and match who you're speaking with. Now, interestingly, I actually wrote a blog about this. I actually got a call from someone on a Sunday. Actually, they contacted me. They want to chat. And when I spoke to this person, all they were trying to do was just sell me their services. It wasn't that interesting. It wasn't very nice to be on the receiving end because what would actually happen is that I'm a strong D, which I'll be talking about in a minute. I'm a strong director dominance profile. I had this person on the phone that was trying to sell me some finance services. I kept asking questions about it, and they wouldn't answer me. They kept evading it. They kept saying they'll come back to it. And basically, when I finished the call, I knew this person did not understand DISC profiling whatsoever. They did not understand how to pick people, because I'm pretty obvious to pick. And it really caused them to actually really upset me to the point where I actually decided to block them on LinkedIn because they weren't very nice to me in that conversation. I think it's beyond them DISC. I think it's a bit of an ethical issue there. But the point that I'm making is that you have to really pick the person that you're talking to, and this is what I want to sort of focus on. Everyone is completely different. You, me, everyone. And what I love about what I'm going to go through right now is that that's going to help give you a bit of tools just to pick the right people. Now, there's 4 types of different personalities. I actually picked of Australian examples to illustrate them. First one is there's DISC, okay, if you draw the little arrows. And I want to talk about this in the context of selling. Directors and dominants. I'm a strong D, for example, and here are some great Australian examples. Ida Buttrose and, of course, Kyle Sandilands. Now, directors, dominance type of people, they respond to the D part of DISC profiling. They're factual results people, decisive, get things done, sharp, rushed, impatient, assertive. These people love cutting to the chase, and they don't like detail, and they do not like being sold to. So as I made reference before, that guy that rang me up, he was just trying to sell me and manipulate me. It doesn't work. Now, when you meet a director, directors are usually assertive, commanding type of characters, okay? It's very important that you respect them and you cut to the chase with them. So if you're trying to approach them or you're trying to offer them something, or let's say you meet them at a networking event and you tell them what you're about. So let's say I'm the awesome Wayne Wanders. I encourage you to add them on LinkedIn, Facebook, Google, and that sort of thing. You say, hi, my name's Wayne Wanders. I'm from the Wealth Navigators. I help people increase their wealth through a range of strategies. Let's say I said that as my elevator pitch. Doesn't sound bad, actually. A director is the sort of person that will ask lots of sharp questions going, right, how does that work? How can you help me? You have to answer people right away. So really, at the end of the day, you sort of match these people. If you've got a strong director, you don't challenge them, you don't mess them around, but you answer their questions. You answer it quickly. Does that make sense, awesome friends? Are you a director yourselves, or do you possibly know directors? Hey, if you've got any questions, just ask me. I'd love to answer them. Number 2 is the I part of the DISC profiling. I, which stands for influencer, or also known as socializer. Okay, this is the other styles for it. Now, the influencer or socializer is relationship-based. They're fun, engaging, and fast-moving. Life of the party. They're charismatic, friendly, engaging, and talkative. I'm going to say Paul Hogan. We've got Bert Newton here. We've got Rebel Wilson. I've done my best to find some very, very good Australian examples. Now, these are the people who are clearly the life of the party. They can talk and talk and talk and talk, and they are absolutely a lot of fun. They love a lot of interaction, friendly conversation. They love entrepreneurialism. Now, these people hate routine, and they actually don't like people who cut to the chase and are boring. And they don't like thinking too much about decisions. They like to make sharp decisions and keep moving, but they like to talk it through. Now, the reason why I bring it up, and it's important to think about people you know who are influencers. I've got a really good client who's very successful, who's a strong influencer. And what's very interesting about these people is you just can't walk up to them and just cut to the chase. They're not going to like it because they want to talk to you. They want to suss you out. They want to build that emotional relationship with you. They want to understand how you tick so they know that they can trust you, but also that you're interesting and you can keep up with them. So these are people who like a bit of chit chat. So you might meet them at a high value networking event, or you might be selling to one-on-one. Either way, these people are incredible and I love them greatly. But remember, if they want chit chat, jump in there, chit chat with them, build trust and take it from there. The other one as well is the C part of DISC, D-I-S-C. The reason why I mix up C and S is that you can draw it both ways depending on whether you go clockwise or counterclockwise. Now, conscientiousness or the thinker are basically the engineer, process, logical type of thinkers. They're usually quite slow paced. They're real detailed thinkers, and they're all about this step to this step to this step to this step to this step. I have probably about 30% of my clients are accountants, and they fit into this, and they're absolutely wonderful people. And what they don't like, what conscientious thinkers don't like, is people who are, too much talk. They don't like lack of substance, and they don't like people who are over the place, and they don't like ambiguity. They're very specific. If you say something, you got to be able to back it up. Now, two great examples is, I actually watch a lot of videos. Kathy Freeman is actually a very, very strong thinker. And of course, Tony Abbott. These people are very slow paced, but very sharp and absolutely brilliant. Now, when you sell and work with these people, you have to take your time. You got to have your facts. You got to have your details. You got to answer all their questions. Now, I used to be in the military actually, and today I actually have different departments within the military as my clients, which is very exciting. I can't talk too much about it, of course, because it is confidential, but it's totally awesome. Now, the reason why I bring it up in this context is that they're very process people. So you got to have all the detail, got to have the information so you connect with them. So I just want to highlight that one with you. It's very important. Now, the final one. These are some of the everyone's favorites people, and they're just wonderful. This is the S and DISC. This is steadiness. These are the relators. These are people who are feeling-based, relationship-based. They're kind, warm, great listeners. They're slow-paced and they're relaxing characters. They love harmony, peace. They don't like conflict, albeit when there is conflict, they can step up very quickly. And they do not like people that are pushy. Now, Miranda Kerr, who I think, of course, is wonderful, and of course, who I think is totally awesome, is Sam Worthington, the Australian actor. They are both strong relators from all my research and watching a lot of them in interviews and seeing the way they respond. Now, when you're dealing with these kinder, warmer, softer sort of people, it's very important that you take your time, you're relaxed, and you sort of really understand how they feel, and you sort of move at a slower pace. So you can see the way that I'm talking, you see the way I can sort of slow down. So I'm going to do a quick recap of these because I really want all of you to get this. But I'll tell you now, if you can leave this webinar experience with a great understanding of DISC and also networking and a bit of selling, it's going to really pave the way for you to go to the next level. Now, D for director, dominance. This is me. This is people who cut to the chase and do things quickly. They're results driven. They do not like being screwed around. And that's actually me, so it's easy for me to play it. So I'm trying to, it's easy for me to imitate that because that's who I am. Now, the socializers and the influencers, the ones who like to talk, have a good time, party, talk about what happened on the weekend, talk about their plants, their pets, their children, everything that's going on. They're great people. I have trouble imitating them, actually. It's hard, actually. As a D, I actually have trouble imitating the influencers because they talk a lot. In a way, it's a little bit the opposite to me, but they're totally wonderful. Conscientiousness, the thinkers. A bit like Tony Abbott. They'd sit there. They want to consider the facts. They want to really see the process from start to finish and see some detailed evidence to completely explain what's going on so they can make intelligent decisions. Decisions that are reasoned and cautious. So there you go. That's an example of me trying to be a D. And of course, steadiness. These people just want to relax. They're quite chilled. They're about helping everyone get along with everyone. So great sort of people. Now, please keep that in mind. What I encourage you to do is think about people you know out there that fit in these profiles because it'll help with your own thinking. And this is the big point that I want to say, and this is what changes everything. I love DISC profiling. What I just told you has totally changed my life because you can use it as a way to pick different types of people so you can really understand them and really get along with them and that type of thing. And to me, this is what's quite important. When you're meeting with someone, when you're working with them one-on-one, it's absolutely important that you understand the whole situation, you understand the whole context. Selling is not just saying, here's my product and telling them how wonderful it is. It's about getting to know them as a person, becoming friends with them, understanding what they're all about. So you can make sure your product's for them, but best tailor things to suit them and explain it from that point of view. The other point I want to make as well is remember, you are the expert in your own product. You are the expert. It's great to remember that you're the expert. You're the expert in your own product. And it's your job to become an expert in the other person's circumstances so you can really connect with them and help them. So that's an important part. Elevator pitch. I don't want to spend too long on this because I want to go into networking. But your elevator pitch is basically, I take the view of point of 20 seconds max. It's how you can tell people exactly what you do. It's very important that you cut to the chase. You don't say too much. You don't want to confuse people. You want to be direct. You want to give great information. You want to have a clear goal to the conversation, and you want to have a great elevator pitch. So what I encourage you to do is work out what you do and say it in under 20 seconds. When you get your pitch right, you get more referrals, you get more engagement, you get more people at networking events that want to meet with you and take it further. Okay? Very important, very important. I encourage you to spend a bit of time for it, because ultimately an elevator pitch is what continues discussion and keeps it moving. And I think as well, just a few points. A good elevator pitch really understands what people's issues are, and it's using simple language to get it across, and it gives them a solution. Okay, so there's just a few points here. I encourage you to take your time and go through it, because I want to spend a bit of time on the business networking, because that's quite important. Obviously, you want to smile, you want to make strong eye contact, and you want to be direct with people. Now, I'll tell you what my elevator pitch is, if I was saying. And I'm just saying this more if it's friends in the room. Hey everyone, my name is Edward Zier. I'm a marketing mentor and blogger. It's my job to help people get more profitable, high-value clients and build the businesses they deserve through powerful marketing. Come talk to me if you're interested. Anyway, that's more of a general pitch, but obviously if you're meeting someone one-on-one, you're not going to say that to them. It sort of comes out in a natural conversation. I just want to put it out there. Know what you're doing, be able to explain it very well in under 20 seconds. Group selling. Don't want to spend too much time here. I want to go into the business networking, but I just want to say this to this one. Group selling is not too different to what we discussed in face-to-face selling. But in short, you want to have a strong purpose. You want to know what you're on about when you're speaking to a group of people. You want to give an amazing experience where people are really intrigued and enjoy what you're all about. Is it a light technical debate or something heavier? You want to give amazing value, incredible value, so people know what you're on about and that they know that you're wonderful. You want to acknowledge issues in the room. If the room's too cold, there's a loud air conditioner, there's something behind what you're saying, it's good to bring it up front. You got to be credible. You got to have the great detail that really connects with people and convinces them what's going on. Proof is everything. I like proving what I'm saying. It's very important. Cut to the chase, which is just critical and something that is very important. Having great timing is important. And also you want to close on a strong point, such as taking action with you. So to me, that's very important. Just want to touch on that very quickly. And I want to finish on my favorite bit, the business networking. I'm going to move through this pretty quickly because you people are smart and you know what you're on about. Now, why go networking? Why on earth should we do that? Because Richard Branson did it, Trump, Gates, Oprah, all the top entrepreneurs do it. And I make lots of money out of business networking, so I can tell you that it's wonderful. It's absolutely incredible, actually. It's been absolutely great for my business. Now, what we've learned the painful way is that I'm in Sydney. You might be anywhere across Australia or in the UK. Got a few people from the UK watching this now or tomorrow. Make sure you go to the right events with people who have money, people who are incredibly successful. I encourage you to avoid places that are like, small groups where there's a lot of ego and people aren't really successful at. I really encourage you to avoid it. I encourage you to network in places of success. Why? Because people with money are more likely to hire you and they're more likely to refer you to other places. Now, I've got some great endorsements. I'm talking Australia here. If you're from the UK, just feel free to message me. I can send you a few options too. National level. I love the Australian British Chamber of Commerce, American Chamber of Commerce, and the New South Wales Business Chamber, which works through partnership. It is incredible. If you're interested, just send me an email. I can invite you. You'll have hundreds of people in the room in great experiences. On a state level, New South Wales Business Chamber, Canberra Business Chamber, Victorian Business Chamber, Chamber of Commerce in Queensland, Bizruption. A few different groups that I totally love. On a council level, Parramatta Chamber of Commerce, Manly Chamber of Commerce, and CBD Sydney Chamber of Commerce. These are some of the personal events that I've been to, and I absolutely love them and I highly recommend. Because you go there, they usually have after fives, you can speak to them, and you'll meet, you have rooms, sometimes hundreds of people. Here's just a bit of a zoom up on the Australian British Chamber of Commerce. They've got great events, anything from the Ivy Pool Bar to great wine whiskey places. I totally love it. New South Wales Business Chamber. Oh, great place. You'll have hundreds of people in the room. You get to swap a lot of cards and meet great people. Bizruption. That's actually a very, very good meetup group, which I highly encourage. You can just find it on Meetup. And, of course, just a few other ones as well, which I totally love. You've got the American Chamber of Commerce, which is great for corporate enterprise. They've got a lot of high-powered CEOs, that type of thing there, which is very good. Something I just want to put out there for you if you're interested. Parramatta Chamber is a great spot. Western Sydney centric, of course, but it is great. Also as well, you have got the importance of having a Navigator networking event. I always say to people, make sure you have a goal, great elevator pitch, build relationships, give people first. Now, this is a bit that's interesting. I like going to a few networking events a week, but what do? It's great to, if you, let's say you meet 20 people on a night, collect a stack of business cards. You might follow up with a phone call, follow up with an email. You add people on LinkedIn. If appropriate, you add them on Facebook. And this is a bit I want to talk about what Awesome Wayne was saying before. Wayne was talking a lot about how to get email addresses and add them to your database. When you meet wonderful people, I like asking them face-to-face if I can add them to my email database. They almost always say yes, and I just make a note of that, and I just add them to my database. It's a great way of doing it because if you meet 20 new people at a networking event and add them to your database has just grown by 20, and it's incredible. So that's a great way of doing it. And plus, they know you face-to-face, so you're more likely to pick them up that way. The other thing that Awesome Wayne was asking before, which I was talking about it, is what's called lead offers. So sort of jumping out of this topic from it, but coming back to it. I like meeting people at events and asking permission to add them to databases. But the other way of doing it is, let's say hypothetically you're putting out material on Facebook and LinkedIn, and you want people to log into, and you want people to opt in to your email database. Well, usually you might have a lead page using the Lead Pages platform where you actually have, let's say, a free ebook to give away. Or like this live webinar, people can opt into my live webinar, and as a result, they go on my database. It can be just saying, join my email community where I send out regular tips based on what I teach. Another great way of people in there. Another great way of getting emails too is running your own live workshops. You get to run live workshops and you have people, you get collect their business cards, get permission, add them. So there's a lot of different strategies to actually build your email database, which is something I quite recommend because as you go to these networking events and you get people's business cards and you add them to your database, it makes you stronger and bigger. So I hope some of those thought helps, Wayne. Now, feel free to, ask a question or build on that. But to me, in concept, that's what it's all about. I like going to networking events and getting emails and adding them. But let's say I want to put something out on Facebook and LinkedIn and want people to opt into my email database. You got to have a good reason. You got to have a good reason for them to opt in. Why do people opt into my database? Because they get access to such amazing tools and materials, which is why they love it. All on marketing, that type of thing. The other point I want to make as I wrap up this awesome live webinar, so we're coming towards the end, is the numbers. I try and meet at least 40 new people every week. Sometimes there's a lot more than that, but it averages out to that. I try and meet a stack of people and listen very carefully. I add them all to LinkedIn. I follow up with emails and we start a conversation. The ones that are interested, I'll meet some for coffee or lunch. So let's say I go to a chamber event. I usually get two or so lunches from it. I'll go meet both people for lunch. We'll say hello. Probably maybe 1 out of 4, 1 out of 3 will turn into a customer. And that's it. I just keep doing that over and over again. So you go to networking events, you meet people, you add them on LinkedIn, you follow up with emails. You might even call them if it's really interested. And you say, hey, listen, it was great meeting you. Let's say you meet someone and they say very obviously, hey, Wayne, yes, I want to become more wealthy and I need your help. I want to meet to talk about it. That's called a lead. Or, hey, Edward, I want to talk to you about marketing. That's a lead. Obviously, it's a pretty hot lead. So I'll ring them up in the morning and say, hey, we spoke last night on marketing. Do you want to meet for lunch or coffee? And they will. And usually it's probably actually more than that. But let's say 1 out of 4 will become clients. So it's just incredible. And that's how it works. That's how it's always done. So just got a few honorable mentions in relation to this topic. Make yourself love selling. If you don't love selling, you will. Keep yourself at it. It's a people game. Networking only works when you're doing it. You need to be going out to events on a continual basis. Numbers are everything. Don't worry about losses. Keep chasing wins. Don't worry about getting tired. Keep at it. And always go where the money is. The other point I want to make on this as well is it's great for filling live events. So if you're filling, let's say, live workshops, and let's say you're trying to put ads on Facebook or LinkedIn and you're trying to fill them, the other way you can fill them actually is by going to live workshops, getting people's email addresses, and inviting them along. It works incredibly well. So there's heaps of different ways of doing it. In fact, going back to your original question before there, Wayne, which I think is fantastic, that can be a great way of going about it as well. You know, live events, live webinars, having something really good to give away to make it all doable. So, friends, giving you some great ideas tonight. I want you to do it your way, and I want you to put them into practice right now and also tomorrow. Just want to give a quick round of acknowledgements and thanks. I've used a lot of content from video games, XCOM, Spock, Donald Trump, Tony Abbott, Ida Buttrose, Rebel Wilson, Kathy Freeman, Sam Worthington, Joel Curtis, Ain't Sophia, Star Trek. I've used so much content out there from pop culture and movies and that. Just want to say thank you. You've really enhanced my presentation. I just want to help promote you guys as well. And of course, as well, if you're not clients already, I'd love you to be. I can help you create your marketing strategy and plan, mentor, motivate, and inspire you, get your strategies off the ground. And there's heaps of ways you can hire me. You can hire me one-on-one to work with you face-to-face. Also, you can check out my awesome Marketing Vault mentoring program. If you haven't already, please get more into my free resources, including this live webinar that you're listening to. Got my blog. You can opt into my email database. Check that out, Wayne. Actually, when you go to my website, you can scroll to the bottom, opt into my email database. You can also check out free module 1 of my Awesome Marketing Vault. And also, please, as well, if you haven't already, please add me on Facebook personally, Edward Zier, and check out my business page, Awesome Marketing of Edward Zier. It's all there to help you. And of course, as well, I've got my Awesome Marketing Vault mentoring program, which is a great way of working with me face-to-face online. And then after that, I've got my personal mentoring, which is just incredible. Friends, I love your work. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you taking the time to join tonight's webinar, and you're just fantastic. Love your work. Email me. Got any questions? I'm here to help you. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, John. We had a tight yet amazing group tonight, and I bet everyone's going to listen to the recording tomorrow. Stay tuned. Stay awesome. Have a great evening. I'm going to get the recording out now. Thank you again, and here is to great selling, great networking, and winning in 2017. Have a great day, great evening, and stay awesome.